Hello, fabulous superstar Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Over the last couple of months, we've had an interesting phenomenon taking place with planets moving into your sign, retrograding out. Well, it is going to be now as key planets, Mercury and Venus, go direct in the sign before yours. They will re-enter your sign, bringing with them a fresh and different perspective. In some cases, a perspective that feels unexpected and yet prepares you in a larger sense for some really huge changes that are already in the works now. It was at the end of last month that Neptune entered your sign. And right now, Neptune's giving you a little bit of a taste of what the next 14 years or so are going to feel like for you. Right now, you do get Neptune in your sign until just before Halloween, at which time we're going to have Neptune retrograde out and then move back into your sign before January 2026 is out. And that's when you're going to get that really nice long stay of Neptune. And Saturn as well, later this year, will be dipping into your sign and then back into the sign just before yours. So in many ways, personal planets, Mercury and Venus, have been preparing the ground, helping you to be more aware and to ensure you bring heart to some very rare brand new chapters that are in the works now and on the horizon, as well as huge planets gear up to enter, leave, and then re-enter your sign for much longer stays. And so now here we are on the 7th of April. We are going to have Mercury officially going direct in the sign before yours. And then we move forward to the 12th of April. And this day is special for a few reasons. One is Venus going direct in the sign before yours. That in and of itself would make it a very big deal. But what we have happening literally minutes before Venus goes direct is a very powerful full moon taking place in your opposite sign. And this is about seeing yourself and knowing yourself differently as reflected in the eyes of another. The very nature of Venus in and of itself often speaks to how it is we understand ourselves in relation to others and how we feel about our connections to other people. How much we feel that they are sweet and filled with lightness and love, and where it is that they are not. And then we get, in the midst of it, a full moon like this, which amplifies the need to pay attention to another person that much more as a way to understand yourself. Now, Mars is speaking in tension with this full moon, which means that whatever comes up, it comes up in ways that feel sudden, impulsive even, and in ways that might feel frustrating, even irritating as well. But what we also have is Jupiter speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. And that suggests whatever realizations you're having right now about your connection to another person, it is not just about your healing, but it opens a window of greater possibility in all kinds of ways. Now, this includes business partnerships and professional alliances. And for some of you out there, it is going to be at this time that you're having to hone in, focus in on how you feel about a key alliance, whether or not it's working for you, how much you feel mutually supported, is there mutual prosperity here or not? These are going to be parts of the considerations that might be finding you at this time. And even if your answers feel uncomfortable, which is possible, what we also have is hope. Knowing that, yes, great things are possible, great alliances are possible, and where alliances are good for you, they will strengthen going forward from here as you work through an important moment with them towards your shared growth and prosperity. The days leading up to the new moon on the 27th of April are significant in how it is that they set the stage for that new moon energy that takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with money you earn, money you spend, but self-love and self-esteem are covered here as well. And so what we have is 2 days before the new moon, we're going to have this triple conjunction of Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. When the North Node is activated, it is as if a doorway opens from which new people, places, things, situations enter, which represent karmic blessings. They pull us into a future more in alignment with the soul contracts we have, the soul promises we have with ourselves and with others. The thing is, for you, this triple conjunction is happening in the sign before yours, which means this truly is a seed moment. It is a very beginning of a moment. And just when you think you know what that beginning is, it may end up being something markedly different. And so it becomes really important to pace yourself at this time. Know that, yes, there are certain beginnings in the works, but they come hand in hand with an understanding of what fortunate karmic closure looks like for you. And it's all part of connecting that much more deeply to a knowing that you have so much more yet to do in this lifetime. You soon are going to be on that much more of an accelerated pathway towards doing those things, especially as we navigate this time. As I said, late last month, Neptune entered your sign. A bit later this year, we're going to have Saturn enter your sign. And that's really when you're diving that much more in, consciously leading your life in new directions. But for now, it is the groundwork that's being laid, even if it isn't obvious right away. It's an intuitive knowing that you likely are having that, yeah, there's a lot more to do. You don't need the details just yet. But the day before the new moon, on the 26th, we are going to have Mars opposite Pluto. And this opposition with Pluto is the last of a series of 3 as part of the larger Mars retrograde season. Yes, we have been in this extended season now. It was going all the way back to February that Mars officially did go direct. But now here we are, and it is this month that Mars starts wrapping up loose ends and is rewalking some of those steps that Mars was previously retrograde over. And it is this moment in particular, as we start moving towards the end of the month, this opposition is huge because it is tense. Yes, there's frustration there, but there's also the promise of self-honesty, the kind of honesty that gets you in touch with what you really want, what your heart is really wanting, and where it is that maybe you haven't been able to be really honest with yourself up until this point as to what that actually looks like for you if you were to do what it is that you feel is going to make you happy. There are certain compromises that are worth it because they align you with higher forms of happiness, the kind that come from meeting certain responsibilities, but other types of ways in which we compromise our happiness, well, they end up draining us. And this is where you make a very valuable distinction. But here's the thing. That new moon is going to be setting up what astrologers call a T-square, which is a larger configuration of tension. It is a key part of that new moon energy. And so it isn't just about what you really want to do in your heart of hearts. It isn't just about how that stands in contrast to peer pressure or what you feel is required within a friendship or other group dynamic, or maybe some social expectations that you might feel are there. But how is it also speaking to self-love and self-esteem? How is it also speaking to your money? I think this is going to be an incredibly valuable moment. It's going to ask you in some way to stand up for yourself. Now, this might be subtle. It might be from a place within yourself, from a place of heart. For others, though, it might feel a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more obvious, a little bit more like you've got to actually take steps or let others know how you are feeling. But in one way or another, you are standing up for or speaking up for yourself now. And at the same time, this can be a valuable moment to understand what you really want and also how it is you can align what you really want towards creating greater prosperity for yourself, or at least being more conscious about how you are earning or spending your money, what's worth doing for money and what isn't, what's worth spending your money on and what isn't, might be part of the very valuable distinctions you're making right now. One thing is for sure, though, there is a brand new beginning that ultimately is motivated by doing more of what it is that feels right for you to do within yourself as part of aligning with greater abundance. Where it comes to matters of love, I'm going back to that full moon energy on the 12th of the month. That is when that full moon in your opposite sign is going to be lit up. And when we have important lunar energy in your opposite sign, it means that someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. It's not necessarily the easiest energy with all the important celestial connections taking place at that time. And yet Jupiter is trine, meaning that there's hope. There's every reason for optimism and for belief that there is love in the world for you. And absolutely there is. For those of you open to meeting someone new, this pretty much says that there very likely is going to be someone there to help you to understand where you are in love, how you feel about it. And regardless of what happens with this person, it is a moment of hope and a moment of belief. That really is key here. It's an awareness that you have options available to you, and you absolutely do under the light of this full moon. It might not be your first option that feels like that is the way you really want to or wish you could go. And yet what does show up and come together just might be even better. For those of you just starting to date someone, this again, moment of truth, moment of heightened energy, passion, emotion certainly might be there at this time, but it gets you in touch with some truth about what you really feel about this person. It is going to be under the light of this full moon that we do have Venus going direct. So already we've got light bulb moment of clarity energy, and it's only amped up that much more with that full moon energy for you in particular. And so all of that adds up to you getting very honest about whether or not there's partnership here. And for those of you in an established bond, the overwhelming majority are going to find that you may have to scramble a little bit, maybe be present for your partner in some way now, but you're able to meet the moment. And ultimately, there is this real sense of hope and a hopeful sense of where the two of you are heading together, which can be rather inspired. A very small percent out there, if you felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, I think with this full moon, you're getting in touch with some truth about what you really feel and what you're really wanting. And that in turn helps you to understand what the next best choices just might be for you. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love that we are starting to wrap up the larger Mars retrograde season for you. Mars is your ruling planet, and it is going to be at the very beginning of next month that Mars leaves shadow. Moving on, the larger retrograde season is good and over, but just before that takes place, of course, that is when we have this big crescendo moment of truth with Mars opposite Pluto, but also Mars opposite Pluto creating a T-square with a new moon, no less. In one way or another, you are standing up for yourself. And it may not need to be an external show. It may not need to be to anyone else or for anyone else. It might just be within you. But regardless, it helps you to claim space. It helps you to affirm healthy self-love. And that in turn changes your self-concept and changes the very definition of abundance. Helps you to realize really you have so much of it right now. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below.